It's kind of funny that they still show the Blizzard North thing. I appreciate that they still refer to Blizzard North, even if Blizzard North, isn't really a thing anymore. But, Yeah, hey there everyone. My name is Valky Shapno from the Castle Games. And, yeah, I bought the new Diablo 2 remake, Resurrected. Remake? Is it a remake or like a remaster? I'd actually probably say it's a remaster. It's like actually a lot like the Halo, the MCC and Halo 1 anniversary and all that jazz, because the original game is still there. You can say I've been playing a little bit. I have a Sork and a Necro and some other characters just to see shit. And yeah, it has the same thing where you can like toggle between old graphics, new graphics. For some reason though, I noticed that the old graphics doesn't cover the whole screen, but if I play, I still have OG Diablo 2 installed. I'm not going to get rid of that. If I play that version, it does cover the whole screen. So I guess my OG version is either stretched or the remastered OG version is unstretched. I don't know, but it's weird because you can. But yeah, because of the way that the full screen gets handled in this, because I can still like pop this up to see my stuff. I can properly record full screen for this because with the original Diablo 2, the full screen kind of like sucks up your shit. So I think I could probably get it to record full screen in the original, but it's a pain in the ass. And I usually just record like a half the screen window. But either way, oh yeah, I have an offline character too. So yeah, I said I was gonna do this back when I did the randomizer version. I said, I'd probably buy this version and I'd probably do a little LP of it, because why the hell not? And that's what I'm doing now. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2 and I've been really itching to do an LP. And I can even toggle it here, but like, see what I mean? Like the mouse even goes over here, but which is weird. That's really weird, but like it doesn't do that. I almost want to try a classic character, but we're gonna play the new version, at least for now. I mean, I can toggle it whenever, so it doesn't really matter. And if you couldn't tell by who I've been mousing over, we're gonna go with a Barb, because I almost never do Barb. Barb is probably my least played class, just because I've always thought he's a little boring. But I mean, screw it. I always play Necro. And then after that, I think my second highest is probably actually Druid. But we're gonna do a Barb, and we're going hardcore. I've never actually played a hardcore character before, but what better time to do it than for a hardcore, than for an LP? So if I die at some point like an idiot, the LP is gonna be kind of short. I'm gonna go. I don't know if I'll do all the difficulties, but at least for now, I'll do normal. I shouldn't die in normal for the most part, unless I'm stupid, which can definitely happen. I mean, there's always stuff like Duriel and all that jazz, but we'll just call you, Raw. Oops, I can't see my keyboard because my mic is in the way. We'll just call you Raw Meat. Why? I don't know. Actually, thinking about it, that's probably a more appropriate name for the Druid, but whatever. We're Raw Meat, and if I die, LP's over. Have fun with that. I don't even remember. Oh, game difficulty scale to 7. Right, yeah, you can set it automatically. Let's keep it. I'm gonna keep it at 1. And other than that, I guess I should quickly change my controls, because I don't know if there's a way to set this up so it's like this for every character you make, but at least for this, I have to. If I want to go to, where is it? The legacy toggle. I always change legacy toggle to tab. And then just have the automap be mouse 3, because I've never used G for the automap. I don't know why that's even a thing. Or I've never used I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Whatever. There it is. Apply. We'll keep it at difficulty 1 for now. Maybe if it's too easy, I'll set it up to like 3 or something. But what does the Barb start with? Get rid of that. We don't need that. Right, man, I don't even remember anything about. I think they made some changes. Like I remember that they changed jump attack to be an AoE, which is kind of insane because this means there's finally an AoE melee class, and I'm not sure how you feel about that. There's a lot of changes. I think for the most part, all the class changes are for the most part like very positive because they mostly just try to help buff up some of the skills, like especially for something like the Amazon, where the spear Amazon just was never used in classic in like the old days for the most part because it's just slow and the damage you get just isn't worth it. And they buffed up, I think, the Barb too, because I think now, which one is it? Is it Throwing Mastery? Yeah, Throwing Mastery has a chance sometimes you don't consume quantity and you replenish quantity on critical strike, which is kind of insane because now all of a sudden it's like, and they added piercing. Like Throwing Barb is all of a sudden like really good. Maybe I'll do that then. That might be fun. I think all this stuff is like basically exactly the same. And then they did do some clarification stuff. Like for example, they mention in Leap that you knock stuff away. They actually have the radius of the knockback, which is nice to see. They did a lot of that, although there's still some things that are wrong. Like I think the OG stuff that was wrong is still wrong. That's like, I think, like, for example, I think Skellies are shown to have less life than they actually have. But, I don't know. There's stuff like here, like Berserk says 1% magic damage per level, but what that actually means is 1% magic damage conversion per level, so that if you have 20 points in Berserk, Concentrate has 20% of the damage you would do be magic damage instead of just physical. Or whatever, like the physical damage of your weapon. And yeah, you can chocolate, and it's pretty seamless for the most part. It's pretty nice. Sometimes there are weird things because the UI stuff in the remaster isn't the same, right? Like you can see like the skills are in the middle here, but if I change to classic, they're on the sides like they used to be, and that's kind of weird to me. Let me just quickly do the old no pickup. I always have that set up. It actually tells you item pickup disabled, which is nice. I'm shocked that isn't like, that's a toggle that you can type in, but there's no like option to go in the options, which is surprising to me. Like, there's no options in here that's like auto no pickup, because there's things like auto gold pickup, which is really cool. But there's nothing for automatically have no pickup on, which is surprising. You still have to type that in. Because they even have the offline difficulty scaling, which is nice. And it's so weird to me, because I feel like no pickup, like, I don't know, maybe other people, but I feel like for me at least, it's always been like I always turn no pickup on, because it is so annoying to accidentally click on items and run over to them and pick them up. When you're trying to either click on a monster or just not click on the item. Alright, let's just whack some dudes. The auto gold pickup is nice. Like, it's a little weird because when you have no pickup on, maybe this is why there isn't an option, but when you have no pickup on, man, I don't know what it is, but looking at it, for some reason, this is the problem I have. I like the magic casting stuff, but for some reason, the melee attacks look weird to me in the remaster. Like, it doesn't look fat, it looks weird is a good way to put it. Like look how much he he throws his like arm into the swing, you know what I mean? Like, looks, but then you look at OG and it's like there's a lot more emphasis put on the actual like reel back, if that makes sense. Like, he spends more time with the axe behind him, whereas the new version he spends more time with the axe in front of him, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's weird. I shouldn't complain, because all in all, I'm actually quite satisfied with this remaster. I feel like compared to Anniversary, should I compare it to the Halo Anniversaries? I don't know. I feel like just from what I've seen in the patch notes, it feels like they really care about this, so I don't know. Even though I definitely don't agree with all the stuff they've done, because, you know, stuff like the class changes have been mostly positive, but I feel like a lot of the Sunder Charms, for example, is just like, I feel like they're just a terrible idea for what they do to the game balance. The Terra Zones are awesome, but the Sunder Charms themselves are just like terrible, because it's like it's almost ironic because it's like, oh yeah, we did this because we want to... It's actually really bothering me. I don't know why. I hate the way he looks when he swings. It looks so... Like, I think part of the problem is it's like the axe looks like it's almost like in the dude for like forever, and then they take damage. Whereas in OG, it's like you look and it's like whack. Like, it looks good in OG. It looks like it hits right when it reaches the end of the swing. Whereas OG, it's like he spends so much time with the axe in front of him. It's weird. You know what I mean? What was I talking about? Yeah, like, the Sunder Charms are just, like... I feel like this is just gonna be complaining about the fucking remaster, but... The remaster is good, but there are some things I don't agree with. Like, like I said, I think the Sunder Charms are ironic because I think they actually are, like... I think they stated that they did it because they wanted to help diversify the builds, but, like, Sunder Charms don't really help with that at all. In fact, if anything... I feel like in many ways they do the opposite of that, because what ends up happening is now you can just, like, Blizzard, like, cold sorceresses are now insane because they already have natural minus enemy resistance built into their cold mastery skill. So the cold Sunder Charm, they can just kill everything without even trying. And, like, they are already, like, one of the best classes in the game forever. Like, that's always been, like, the cold source is just insane DPS. Oh yeah, I forgot to build dual wielding. Well, that's funny. I just picked up the sword, now I can dual wield. You know, actually, I should pick up the club instead so I can whack zombies for more. Because I always thought it was funny that the swords are actually less consistent than axes. Right? Axes are 3 to 6, the sword is 2 to 7. And the club is only 1 to 6, but it gets that extra 50% damage on undead, so it can do some good damage. Barb is kind of I always thought it's funny because the Barb's such a boring character in terms of like a lot of his skills, but then just like one of the natural things he has built in, the dual wielding, is actually like really cool and actually like pretty fleshed out because like you can dual wield, say, an axe and a freaking throwing potion. They had to make animations for that, right? In the original, he can do that, right? Look at this, which sounds like, oh well, of course, but like, you know, the original game is sprites, right? So everything you see, oh man, this is a big thing that was not. The X is in the top right in Remastered, but in the OG it was always right over here, which I actually think I greatly prefer right down here because it's down where all the other UI stuff is. So like if I'm clicking down here, I have to go all the way up there, right, to close it. Which, I mean, yeah, there's the shortcuts, but I don't use, you know, especially for a long time, I never used the shortcuts. I do use the shortcuts most of the time now, but like, you know. Yeah, since I think I'll go for a throwing guy. But we should get Bash. Because of that. Bash is nicer, like 50% damage and more attack range and just flat +1 damage. That's nice. It's not a two-handed weapon though, so if I'm seeing undeads, I should probably just slap them. And of course, Barb gets crazy 20 life. You know, 4 life per vitality. He's super tanky. If there's one thing Barb's always been good at, it's being tanky. Just because he gets a lot of life and he gets like stuff like the iron skin to just easy get a ton of defense. I guess because we'll go into throw mastery, but I always thought it's kind of funny. These are level 6 and these are level 1. It's like, why? What about these make these level 6? You can pick up javelins and stuff like in the first area. I also always thought it's really weird that this game differentiates between polearms and spears, because they're basically the same thing. Like, they're not literally the same thing, but like, how are these more different than, say, like a one-handed mace is considered the same thing as a big two-handed maul, but then a polearm is different than a spear. Like, I feel like it's weird. They also get more of a bonus, but only to the attack range. The damage is the same. It's just they also get a slightly higher, just weird. I never even noticed that. I guess I'll pop a point to potion for now. I'm not even gonna really use it, but I mean, maybe I will a little bit. You can get rejuves early on, I think, which is really nice. But yeah, I'll pretty much just be bashing shamans. Because that's pretty much just like a kill on them. Barb was pretty good actually early on compared to other characters. Especially once you get a little bit of money. Because you can buy scepters pretty early on. And even though they're pretty strong early on. And they're also like easy to buy. Whack. I think the good thing is I think you'll always bash with your primary weapon. I'm not sure how that works. Because it only shows damage for one, so I would just assume it's always the sword. Or, I mean the axe. Yeah. So what are the chances we get the whole one enemy remaining thing? Like, I swear it's impossible. It just always happens. It is impossible to do the Den of Evil and kill everything just walking through in your first attempt. There's always one monster just chilling somewhere. Ooh. Wow, a charm already? I mean, it'll probably be crappy, but I mean, hey. Charm's a charm. Oh, right. Freaking stamina. Stamina is one of two things that the original game pretty much just did terribly. Because, like, why is stamina a thing? Stamina basically does nothing but just make you really slow in the early game. And then later on in the game, stamina does not matter in the slightest. Because, especially because you generally put so many points to vitality, it's like, who gives a crap, you know what I mean? It's so weird. Another javelin. There we go. Hey, we actually found everything.
The rogues are safe for the moment.
This is such a weird thing, too, I've noticed. That with the characters say their quest text way faster than they did in the original. Like, the original waits for the music to almost stop playing, whereas here it's like the music, the little angelic, aw, you know, like barely even starts. He's already saying his thing. Which, I'm guessing they did so you can hear it easier? Or something? I don't even know. Because, like, I feel like it's harder to hear now because he's talking, right? And it's like the game's playing music while he's talking. So it's like weird. You know what I mean? Alright, we got another quill point. Quill point. I don't know why I said quill point. I actually have no idea why I just said quill point. I don't know what I was thinking. And I guess we'll just pop into Howl. Honestly, I'm probably not even going to use Bash too much. Well, maybe. How much money do I have? Am I walking? Yeah, I am walking. But yeah, stamina basically doesn't matter at first, and then... Or, like, it's super annoying at first because it does matter. And then eventually it just stops mattering completely. Which is kind of silly. If anything, it should be the opposite. You know, you would want people to engage with it more. 6 poison damage over 3 seconds. That's not bad, actually, this early on. Can't use it yet. But that's not bad. We're only doing like 6 damage per hit anyways, so it's like double damage. Plus, even though it does it over time, the double damage, the fact that it's over time actually means that's essentially 3 seconds that I like, just cut off a monster's regen. Which is actually pretty nice. Ooh. 1 to 3 lightning damage. You know what? I'll take that over the club. Because the light... I don't know if zombies and undead stuff tend to have physical resistance this early on, but... maybe. Either way, that's physical resistance they don't have now. But can I buy scepters? You want to look for a scepter that just doesn't have anything on it, like this. Like, look how much damage that does. 6 to 11. That's literally more than damage that my axe does, period. And it's still fast attack speed. And it even has a little extra attack ring. And it has 50% damage to undead. So actually, even though I have this dagger, I might just quickly leave and come back and see if I can get another scepter. Scepters are really good early on. This is like pretty much what you should always do as a Barb. And even as like any melee class. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Like, they even have 55 durability, so they're cheap to repair. Oh, and this one has sockets. That's so good. This one even naturally has more damage on dead. Because it's consecrated. But I'll take this sockets one. I kind of regret selling my thing now, but... And Nothing about, since I have my Amazon, does she have anything in the other stashes? Nope. Oh, it doesn't matter because this is shared with Hardcore, I forgot. The weirdest thing to me is that because you have these shared stash tabs, and each shared stash tab has its own gold count, and you don't lose that gold when you die, so you can essentially have risk-free gold in there, just chilling. Can't think of anything else, so let's just go whack some stuff. Hey, Dark Hunters. I'll just one-shot you guys with 6 to 11 damage. 7 to 14, actually. Presumably from, something. I don't know. Wow, I'm fighting a lot of javelins this early on, actually. I wish this was anything other than amethyst. Anything else I probably would have dumped it into the socket, but the amethyst isn't really useful early on. Like, 40 attack ring is actually pretty good, especially early on, but the problem is that my chance to hit everything is 95% anyways. Like, I feel like your chance to hit doesn't really go down too much until you get to, like, unless you're super rushing, it's probably not going to go down much until, like, Nightmare. And it also wouldn't help with, you know, the super annoying dudes how, like, a bunch of monsters in Act 1 can block, and you can't really hit through that. Like, all these guys that have shields, they block. Wow, another javelin? That's a lot. Those are good for selling early on, because they sell for a lot. And don't take up that much space. I'm gonna guess this probably isn't the burial ground? Oh, it is. There's just a shaman just chilling right on the edge.
I shall meet death head on.
Alright. Place you. Guzzle that down. Guess I'll just use you. 5 to mana, 1 after kill. Just more vitality. I'm a Barb. I want that vitality, baby. I mean, there's no point. I'm gonna focus on throwing probably, so I'm not even gonna worry about Mace Master or anything like that. And I'll probably not even bother putting more points into Bash. So, I think I'm gonna save this point actually till I get to 6. Yeah, this is gonna be easy though. Like, every zombie's gonna die in one hit. With 6 to 11 plus 50% damage. Whack, 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 whack. And I can bash her. And she's actually affected by knockback because she's... I'm not sure how the exact rules of like knockback are. It seems like sometimes bosses are immune to that, but sometimes they aren't. I think it's actually just like super... Well, she is a super unique one. So I guess it must just be like the act bosses can't be knocked back. Jeez. Say what you will, but it's... Blood Raven's hard to hit. She's like the... Because I think Blood Raven's level 6 or something like that. Like, she's pretty high level for this point, or maybe even like higher than that. I don't remember. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to him, but I'm not gonna talk to Kasha. Well, how I actually don't know how to pronounce it. I'll wait till level 6 to talk to her. Like, yeah, look at this. Like, 270? Like, that's pretty good. Don't have a belt yet, so, Spec Club could actually be good if it's something nice. That's actually pretty good. That's better than the Scepters. At least this one. Because it has fire damage and mana steal, which is nice. This early on. But I can't use it till level 6, so we're just keeping it. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till level 6 so that they start off with their skill right away, right? I don't want to have to level her. Because I feel like Mercenaries leveling is weird, I think. Like, it feels like in like the early game, like they level way slower than you, but once you get to like Nightmare and especially Hell, it feels like they level up way faster than you. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but it's what it feels like. So like once you get later on in the game, like they'll pretty much just always be at the same level as you. But yeah, see what I mean? Like, and like running does have downsides, right? People often say, like even here it shows red for your defense, and people often say that running makes your defense 0. But what it's actually way worse than that, right? Defense just means you always get hit, right? Because like if your defense was just 0 from running, then you should be able to run around as a level 90 character in like normal difficulty, and nothing would ever be able to hit you regardless because you're so high level. But when you're running, even if you're level 99 and you're running around in the Bloodmoor next to like a level 1 Fallen, they'll always hit you if you run by them because they just always hit. Obviously stuff like this is immune to knockback. I think I mentioned a lot of the topics I'm mentioning are probably repeats of stuff I already talked about during the randomizer, but I think it is super underrated just how great the enemy variety is in Diablo 2. Like not just like there are a lot of enemies that do just kind of do nothing but just run up to hit you, but the way they do it is different. Like even just something like this, like these, like the foul crows, right? Like yeah, they're just a melee dude, but like before they're mailing you, they fly around just randomly basically. They just fly around aimlessly. Like they aren't super aggressive towards you. And they come with like a generator. Like the most basic enemy is actually the goat clans dudes, because they're the one dude that actually does just basically run up to you and smack you. And they're actually pretty scary in higher difficulties because they hit pretty hard later on. Like you got the zombies who just kind of wander around aimlessly. They're super slow, but then once you like get close enough or like annoy them enough, they'll actually like kind of run towards you. You have the fallen dudes who like, they're pretty straightforward, but if you kill anything when they're near them, they get scared and run away. So they're actually pretty easy to deal with. If you I like to think of them kind of like grunts from Halo, actually, right? The trick is to kill something else, and it makes them scared and less aggressive. Ooh. Knock Bash is actually great for Rakanishu, I just realized, because he'll run away, or like I'll knock him away, or I'm gonna die. You know, either way, jeez, I'm freaking missing him constantly, or he's blocking me because he's an asshole. He never even emit bolts. Wow. I was gonna say because I can knock him back and his bolts won't hit me like they normally would if you were melee, but that didn't happen because he just never got hit. Double skull cap, huh? Might as well pick those up. Like even just as early as Act 1, we're already running into stuff that's just like a bunch of different like weird enemies. Like the fallen dudes run to us, but then you kill something, they run away. You have the shamans who are super aggressive towards resurrecting. But otherwise they also just kind of try to hang back and shoot you. And it does a good job of teaching you to prioritize enemies, right? Like the shamans are important to hit first, because otherwise you just be killing fallen forever. And even stuff like the fact that you have this camp of fallen and carvers, and the fallen shamans will heal the fallen, but not the carvers. So it teaches you, like, yeah, prioritize the fallen shamans, but it also teaches you that it isn't just as straightforward as they'll just resurrect dudes, right? They won't resurrect different dudes, right? If that makes sense. It's small details like that, but it plays a lot into kind of how you learn to play the game later on. That's important to know who to hit. Level 5. So we want to get to level 6 and then we can use that sweet club I picked up. I love that because I have so little mana, every time it gives me a mana point back, it just goes up like a chunk. Like, look in the corner. It just goes up like by a ton all at once because it's just 1 point. I wonder where the waypoint is. I feel like the Cold Plains waypoint is nice, but the Stony waypoint you definitely want to get, just because otherwise it's kind of annoying because you kind of have to come back here. It's one of the few times you have to actually go back to an old area. In fact, actually, now I think about it, is it the only time that ever happens? It's really weird that they put a lot of effort into Act 1, and I feel like later acts are kind of like Act 2 especially is such a downgrade from Act 1. Even though the areas in Act 2 are great, but the quest design is just like, it's just, every quest is just collect pieces, and then they all basically just do the thing. Like, all the quests in Act 2 are like mandatory because there isn't really any way to avoid them. Like, one of the quests is just kill some guy who shows up for 2 seconds, and you get the quest as soon as you see him, and then the quest is done as soon as you kill him. Like, it's really weird. Also, I don't have a TP scroll. Shit. The chance to hit is 95%, but he's messing me up. Ugh. I definitely want to heal. Oh, my armor's getting destroyed. Well, yeah, because I just picked up something random. There we go. Goes all that down. It's those. Wand don't need because it's got nothing on it. You pick up wands and staffs and stuff because if they have auto mods on them, they're really good selling. Faster hit recovery is good. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you. Ethereal stuff sells for crap, so it's not usually worth it to keep it. I'll keep you. So maybe it'll be something good. I want to find a 2-socket armor as soon as I can for that sweet stealth. Even though since I'm not caster, it's not as good, but it's still really good early on. There we go. Let's get out of here. Oh yeah, there's an annoying thing. You can access the menu as soon as you think, but it still works by the original game's rules. So you'll try to teleport and it's just going to tell you impossible, which is kind of annoying.
Hello.
Alright. Amy, 5 to mana? Sure, that's actually a huge boost, which is funny. So is that. That's hilarious. Normally that wouldn't be so big, but at this point, every point is actually a big deal. Ah, light radius. The classic, useless, quote-unquote, skill, or like, affix. It's funny, because light radius is actually a big deal in Diablo 1, because it legitimately affects the radius that both you can see and that monsters can see you from. But in this game, I don't think that's really a thing. It does affect the... Like, having more light radius actually does make it so that the automap fills out faster. If that makes sense, like the automap fills out from farther away, right? Because if you mod the game to have light radius beyond what is possible to have, that's like super low, your map won't even fill out, and like it becomes like super annoying to do anything. We'll wait till one more level. Although since we have the waypoint, maybe I should just start killing stuff. I don't know. What I need is a TP scroll to find. I guess I could have bought one, but yeah. Hopefully we'll find a jewel or something so I can start socketing, because I would love to have a cold jewel, or like a sapphire, just to start chilling dudes, because that's super useful early on. You're not doing that otherwise. Just because as a barbarian I don't have any way to do that normally. Ooh, a rejuve, nice. It's funny how rejuves actually get better as the game goes on, because the potions don't scale at all, but the rejuves are purely scale, and by the late game, like, full rejuves are insane because they're just full everything. Which I always thought was kind of weird. Because it's like full rejuves are just like insane. And it's way easier to get them later on because they drop from everything. I guess it's to kind of compensate for the fact that everything just does... Because like in normal difficulty, like, yeah, rejuves are still good, and like potions are good too, but also like stuff just for the most part doesn't really do that much damage to you. Like most of the stuff here is still gonna do like only like a couple points of damage if they hit you. Only thing that really is scary in normal difficulty is like the champions and unique packs. Regular monsters are nothing, and that's even like represented in the way the game scales, right? Because right, in normal difficulty, uniques and I think have triple the health, but by the time you get to hell, they're only double health of normal monsters, because the normal monsters are already tough. Especially because, you know, as the game, you know, like in version 1.0 of the game, it's not that big a deal. Hell's hard in version 1.0, but man, is it hard in new versions, you know. That's something I don't think people realize too. It's hard to remember, you know, when this game first came out. And the game just, like, it was hard, but it was hard the whole way through. Like, and the game didn't scale super way hard. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, normal difficulty in the original was way harder than it is now. But hell difficulty in the original, I think, was actually easier than it is now. So in that sense, it's maybe better difficulty scaling. But at the same time, you know, it's like, even Nightmare isn't too hard in this game. And it's not until you get to hell where suddenly the game really starts to get hard. Or you'll suddenly just get killed like really easily if you're not paying attention by like just any unique pack will just kill the hell out of you if you're not paying attention to what it is. Especially with some of the scary monsters. Like certain things in the game, like a pack of like souls with like a conviction aura and like multi-shot will just destroy the shit out of you. Pretty much no matter what. Like you'll have thousands of life and like max out lightning res and you're just dead. Because they're so ridiculous. Unless you have like very specific equipment, like if you have a Thunder Gods. I wonder if this works. I'm gonna bash him away. See if I get out of the radius of the explosion. Oh well, it doesn't work if he's... yeah, and then this guy's gonna show up. Okay, I'm gonna quickly heal. Everything's in the way. Get out of here. I want to bat, dude. Okay, where? Get out of here. Diamond's probably the worst thing I want to socket into here, because it only works on undead, which it's already good against. So I'm not really getting too much of a benefit. But where is he? Okay, watch this. Let's try to bash you away. Nope. If he dies, he doesn't get bashed. So it's worth a try. Shield. Maybe if it's something good. I'm not too worried about fighting an armor because you can buy 2 socket armors. Which I always thought was... the way shops this game work is so weird because like I feel like shops are at their best in Nightmare difficulty when you can get like exceptional gear from them because like it's so weird the way they work because like I don't know. Oh yeah, now I'm level 6. I can poison stuff. That's funny. Immediately, I'm just doing way more damage now. So that sweet charm. Well, since we're here, that's actually a minion pack. I always thought it was weird that aura enchanted monsters don't show their minions, and I think that only applies to normal difficulty. In Nightmare and Hell, they still properly show their minion. This guy's gonna do a lot of damage, by the way, if I'm not careful. You know, it's funny, I almost got surprised he didn't do his explosion until I realized, no, he's not enchanted, he's just got a Holy Freeze aura. Once I get over 200 life, I'll start pumping up my dexterity a little.
Yes?
1 to strength, I'll take the mana. Fire resist, I'll take that over the 6 stamina. 3 to life? Not really a big deal. You. So I can suck at this in here, which gives me 28% damage to undead. But, like, that's the thing. Like, I'm already getting 50%, so I feel like that's a waste to pop in there. If anything, it might be nice to find armor just to get a little extra attack rating. Alright, I have enough money to buy a book. Let's get a book. You know, Reading Rainbow, all that jazz. Should I look for a belt, too? Oh, hey, 1 to 2 cold damage. 6 to 12. I'd love to find something like that that doesn't have the resist, like an extra thing on it, because it's kind of annoying, because that kind of makes it way more expensive, is the thing. Also, since I'm level 6, I'm not gonna bother with the masteries for now, because I don't even have a throwing weapons. Like, what's the point? But I do want to go into double throw, so I'll pop into double swing. Because why not? For now, and then I can put into. Well, I want battle orders eventually, so should I put shout? I guess I'll pop into shout for now. So you pretty much always... Battle orders is stupid. It's like the best skill the Barb has. It is so stupid how good it is. Like, it's actually insane. That battle is like... The Barb as a whole has always pretty... Well, not always, but pretty much always been one of the worst classes. Just because he doesn't have, like, an easy... Like, just because he's the most gear dependent, basically, right? The Barb needs good weapons to do good damage. There's no way around it. You need... Because every single one of his skills is based on your weapon, right? It isn't like, you know, like, even with, like, something like, say, a Paladin, right? You have the Holy Auras, you have, you know, Blessed Hammer and stuff, which can all do good damage by just leveling up. Whereas, and then, like, even something like the, like, what's the other, like, second most gear reliant character? Like, I guess it actually would be, is it the Paladin? Because Paladin really does just have Blessed Hammer for that. And, like, Fist of Heavens and stuff. But, like, that's all he needs. At least he has something. It's easy if you just want to rush through the game without taking the time to find weapons, right? You play the Paladin, and then you just gear up, as it were, or don't bother gearing up. Oh, see, look at that. I can't afford that, but I almost don't want to waste my money on that. But oh well, I'll just sell you. I don't need that. And, hey, lightning resist, attack rating, sure. More belts. Anything else? 5 to life compared to what I have, which is just hit recovery. But the hit recovery can go a long way. Oh yeah, and I want to get a U. Yeah, I should probably quickly get something for her then too, huh? So like I can get the helm with life. And we'll just get you. Because poison length is actually... It's funny, poison is probably the least useful resistance for a player. Because you can... You know, poison generally does its damage over time. Like, it's rare that like something will poison you and you'll just drop dead in like half a second. You can usually like counteract it. Even though it can be pretty powerful when combined with other stuff, but it's still like one of the least threatening ones. Especially because you can just guzzle antidotes to get like extra poison resistance for a long time. But for mercs, because they don't have the option to just guzzle down poison resistant or like antidotes as easily. Like you can, but it's like it's more annoying, and like you can guzzle down a antidote easily to instantly get rid of poison, whereas they can't. Oh, she starts at level 5? Crap, I didn't know that.
I'll put that to good use. I can't use that yet.
Well, that's annoying. I thought she started at the same level as you. Oh, crap. So that's a weird holdover, because I think a lot of versions will say like they're always one level below you, but I know that in newer versions they can level up to the same level as you. There's no restrictions on that. So I just have to keep this stuff in my stash, I guess. I guess I'll do that. U for Taleth, U for the helm. Because she can level up to 6, even though the game pretends she can't. Because a lot of guides still say like they can't do that, but they definitely can. Is anything good here? A triple socket longbow could be nice if I find gems to socket it with, right? Because like even something as triple as like a tripled, like you can get like triple rubies. I think as soon as you get triple flawed rubies, you can already do right now basically. But what level is this? It doesn't actually have a level, so I'll just dump this on here.
I'll put that to good use.
I'm still not sure how this works, but I've heard that so there's a mechanic with that isn't explained but is like known, where if you give mercs one-handed weapons, they treat it as like they get more damage out of it than normal, because it's like the game is trying to compensate for the fact that even though it's a one-handed weapon, they can only hold one weapon. So like if you give the Barb merc in Act 5 a one-handed sword, he does like, I think it treats it as like it does double the damage it's supposed to, and I think unintentionally it also doubles the minimum and maximum damage bonuses on it too. So if you have like a one-handed weapon that has like, you know, +5 to minimum damage and +5 to max damage through like something that's because it's either a unique that has that or some other thing. It actually like doubles that too, so you get like triple value out of it basically. Because the idea is like, well, they can only hold one weapon regardless, right? So it's trying to like make it so that one-handed weapons can still be worth it. But it goes the other way and it makes one-handed weapons way better for the most part, especially if you can get some really good stuff. And the weird thing is, I think this also applies to the Act 2 merc. Like if you give him like javelins, you get extra damage out of that too. But I think the weird thing is that I think this actually applies. I don't know if this is true. I heard people mention this. I don't remember if this is actually true, but I think this applies to the rogue as well. That bows are treated as one-handed weapons for her, so she gets extra damage out of them too, or something like that. Where am I? I'm in the underground passage. I have one skill point left. Is there anything? Would I want Battle Cry or War Cry? Probably not. If I was going a melee class, I definitely would, because War Cry is great. Like, halving the enemy defense and making them do 25% less damage is actually huge. Like, especially the damage is awesome, and the defense is actually a huge bonus for your attack rating. Like, that's essentially doubling your chance to hit, basically. Well, I don't think it's quite like that, but it's still like a huge bonus. Like, it makes your attack rating matter way less with Battle Cry, and it lasts for a decent amount of time. Like, 12 seconds doesn't sound like long, but most monsters probably aren't going to live longer than 12 seconds if you're smacking them with this. And other than that, I guess we'll just go. Oh, actually, here, I'll put a point into Leap, too, just because it's good for, like, going over things. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, my Merc will take a while. I like the Rogue Merc early on, especially because she lowers defense and stuff, so, like, once again, like, defense isn't as big a deal for monsters as it would be later on. So you don't really need as much attack rating, because the Inner Sight helps with stuff that's like it'll help with for like boss groups and stuff that you would normally be like, oh no, that's so annoying. They're harder to hit. Because I think like they're +3 to their level, which actually makes a big difference early on. I actually don't know exactly how that's scaled. I actually don't think it really matters. Because I think the game is very like flat. Like it isn't percentage based like something like Pokemon, right? You know, the difference between level 50 and 100 in Pokemon is like generally like double stats. Whereas in Diablo, it's like you would be absolutely murderized by saying that's double your level when you're level 50. Saying that's level 100, you would never hit them. Because the chance to hit would go down so much. Even if you have like a crazy amount of attack rating, because the attack rating only goes so far. The trick with the Ks, if I remember, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I always heard this is like how it works, is basically for the underground passages, the trick to finding the exit is to basically just try to go in as straight as a path as possible and avoid any and all like off ramps. Like, this might be bad. This looks like it's kind of like, maybe I'm just talking on my ass, but this looks like it's going to like the second level rather than to the exit. It's especially nice having the Mana Steel, because it means I can double hit very easily. The wing's kind of cool too, because they actually properly programmed this in that, like, so this has life steal on it, and I only get life steal if I hit with this weapon, which sounds like it's like, oh yeah, well obviously, but it's like, it's not a thing you'd really, because like obviously if I have life steal and anything else, it'll apply to both my weapons, but generally anything that's on the weapon that applies specifically to like hitting something or like doing damage will only apply to the weapon you're hitting with. So if I have life steal, if I have damage or anything like that, anything that's like, you know, like, oh, I hit them and they'll get blinded, that only applies to that weapon. Yeah, so I think it's over here. I think you can see my mouse. I don't see why you couldn't, because the Diablo 2 mouse is its own thing, right? Because normally my Bandicam doesn't record the mouse, but it should. I would assume it would record the Diablo mouse. I don't remember if it did with the before. But yeah, unfortunately I went the wrong way. Also, rare shield, nice. I'm kind of glad I came back. because I didn't see that before. Boo! My wrist is starting to hurt. Man. You think it's way down there? I get unlucky with this sometimes. Like, I tried to go straight, and I should have gone more straighter. Like, really, like, I should have been going down this way. It's my mistake. I mean, it could have been up there, but I don't know. I almost wonder if I should have gone to the level 2 just to kill the monsters there, because there's always going to be a unique and then a treasure chest. I think it's a super chest, too. It's a gold one. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a super chest, because this game's weird like that. Not every super chest is gold, and not every super chest... Or what did I say? Not every super chest is gold, and not every golden chest is a super chest. Which is weird. That's how it be. Alright, we're gonna guzzle that stamina potion. Now we're gonna run like the wind. Screw all y'all, you do nothing to me. The goggles do nothing. Ooh, she's getting smacked. There we go. We're out of here. Alright, now to look around and try to find the waypoints. Because once again, this is another waypoint that's kind of a big deal in single player. Because you don't want to have to come back through the cave. It's kind of annoying. I mean, I guess if you never save and quit, then everything along the way will be dead as long as you were thorough about it. But it's still like, I'd rather not, you know what I mean? It's weird that the waypoints matter so much, whereas after Act 1, I don't think you ever have to backtrack again. So... it's never really a thing. Uh-oh, I just found the tree and I already have another unique... This is baffling me. My Merc's gonna die. This is bad. Okay. Brute! Whack you! Ah! What are you doing, Merc? Get out of there! You're gonna die! Get out of there. Alright.
Thank you.
Take your health potion.
Thank you.
Jeez, you psychopath. Sometimes it's almost shocking how aggressive the rogue mercs can be. Because their tends to be, like, they tend to be pretty passive, or I shouldn't say passive, more like, they tend to be, like they tend to avoid stuff, but, like, once they start attacking, they tend to just, like, not care if something approaches them, which is funny. It's like, sometimes they'll just, like, something super strong will just walk up to them and they'll just, like, not care. They'll just keep attacking as long as it's, like, not a big deal to them.
This tree is one of a kind.
One more level up and then we'll start putting a little points into strength. I usually like to go, like, once I have over 200 life, I'll try to get my strength and dexterity up to 50, so I can pretty much wield and equip everything in it. And then I'm going to come across in normal difficulty. Although since the Barb starts with so much strength already, it's even less of a big deal for him. Like, I think the Barb also technically has the best starting stats. Because here's the weird thing, your starting stats are kind of inaccurate, because, like, he's, like, each point of energy is only worth 1 mana for him, and he does start with 10 mana and 10 energy, but for other classes, it's not accurate. Like, because, like, I forget, it's like the Sork starts at, like, 35 energy or something, but she does not start with, like, 70 mana, I don't believe. She gets, like, less than that, so they get, a lot of classes actually get screwed. Although I think the Barb also has it to where his life isn't equal to his starting vitality. It's weird, because, like, basically, the starting vitality and starting mana, or the starting vitality and starting energy are basically irrelevant. They don't actually mean anything. They're just... they try to make it accurate, but they're not super accurate. Did I get anything good? Nah. I'm not even sure when Barb helms can start spawning with certain automons, because I know, like, there's a glitch where they're not supposed to spawn with, I guess it's not even a glitch, it's just, they're not supposed to be able to spawn with bash and stun, but basically if the game tries to, like, if a Barb helmet spawns with bash or stun, the game will re-roll. but then it can re-roll and try to spawn it with bash or stun again, right? And if it keeps doing this for long enough, eventually the game just gives up and does it anyways, and it just decides, okay, you can have bash and stun. So certain helmets, like this is true for I think paladin stuff too. There's certain skills that aren't supposed to spawn because the game tells it not to, but eventually it will just give up and do it anyways. And it can actually be kind of cool in that regard because that means that those things are really rare. Also, I just spit on my mic thing. Not that it matters. I have a pop filter on it. That's not usually an issue. Let's just max our keys in the town portal, so I don't have to worry about that. Quest log. What level am I? Level 7. Anything I want to put points into? I'm not gonna bother with double swing for now. Because I don't know, I might go full into just throwing stuff, but like, you can double swing with double throw, and I mean, you can even do frenzy. Frenzy can actually be nice, especially because, does it? Does double throw actually gets a synergy bonus from double swing. Does double throw give synergies into anything? I don't think it does, actually. Well, maybe I should put points in double swing then, because I'll actually get more out of double throw, too. Then, yeah, sure, there you go. And I'll make it cheaper. Oh, this is a nice thing, too. So, I think in Diablo, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I don't think the original Diablo 2, or any version that has the ability to show percentages for mana costs in your skills. Like, it shows it as 1.7, but I think the original would show it as 2 still. But your double swing mana cost goes down by, like, a certain amount every time you put points to it. And eventually it can become free, which is nice. Oh, right, the helmet. I want to put points into that. Because now she can wear this. She can get some extra life. That's actually a decent amount, right? She goes from 72 to 77, which is nice. Could also quickly check, see if there's a better bow in here for her. Wow. 2 to 11. 2 to 11 versus, what is hers? 2 to 11 versus 4 to 6. I think the average damage that would actually be slightly higher, but this is very fast, whereas this one is also very fast because it's the same bow. Huh, never mind. It's funny, 6 energy would just be 6 to mana. I think it would be better. Attack ring and lightning res is nice. Although, resistance is weird because for the most part early on, resistance is relevant. Right? Because the most defensive stats have increasing returns, right? Resistance gets better as you have more resistance, right? Because going up to 50 resistance halves damage, whereas going from 50 to 75 is another halving damage. Also, poison-like reduction gloves aren't bad as early on, so why not? Yeah, we'll just keep that. If you get lucky, you can find stuff that's like triple socket. I forget what it is. Can flails have... I know flails can have triple sockets. I forget if they can have 4 sockets at normal difficulty at this point. I'm not sure they can. Because I believe that once you get to... Like, sockets are actually... I forget if it's based on the item level. I think it's... Well... I shouldn't say that it's... I think sockets are strictly based on the level of the area you're in, but I don't think there's any area with a level high enough until you get to Nightmare where you can start finding stuff with 4 sockets that are weapons. But don't quote me on that 100%. I just know that, at the very least, it is based on the item level. And I'm not sure if any weapons can have 4 sockets until
dead and lifeless.
Areas in Nightmare. Anyways, we can just go rescue Kane right away, but that's no fun. Let's start whacking these Tristram enemies, because Tristram is great for killing stuff early on. You get tons of experience here, because it's a small area packed with a bunch of uniques. The only thing you really have to worry about is that because it's a small area, it can be a little scary. But since we've got these maces, Griswold goes down pretty fast, which is nice. I mean, we'll pick up the javelin too. Got some knight champ. Like, there's pretty much always some pair of champions in the middle here. I'm not sure what the logic is, but there's a lot of stuff that's like based on. This is a kind of a thing that's kind of interesting once you know about the game. But a lot of like where monsters spawn is actually based strictly on the maps. Like that makes sense, but it's like because Tristram's always the same. Generally, monsters will spawn in the same places, right? Like there's almost always champion packs right around this area where I'm at. It'll usually be skeletons, but it can be gold clans or any stuff, and as long as it's a monster that spawns here. And it's cool too because like stuff like this, like certain monsters can spawn in like there's a limit on how many different types of monsters can be in one area, right? Because like usually it's 3 different monsters from area. It can be different depending. Like it's specific per area. Like you can set it. It's set manually in the files for like what monsters can appear and how many do appear. And it's usually 3 different monsters will spawn in an area at once, and that's it. But and usually there's more of that. So you know if you come to the same area, right, then it'll be a different set of 3 monsters. But one thing that defies that is that certain monsters always spawn in certain parts of certain maps. Like you'll see the most obvious case of this is the Fallen camps, right? Though even though shamans will only ever spawn at times in those camps, like I think, like there's a point where I guess the best way to put it is there's a point where you'll start seeing carvers, and you won't see carver shamans yet, but if you go to the Fallen camps, you'll see fallen and fallen shamans, even though they don't spawn anywhere else, because they always spawn in those camps, right? That's just how it works. The game always says, okay, when there's a camp here, spawn fallen. That's pretty good, actually. 20 damage over 3 seconds? That's nice. Yeah, I don't need that poison damage. I forget how this stacks up. I wonder if they've even fixed the character screen here, because this has always been, you know, flimsy at best. It lies to you because the way the game actually calculates damage is different from how the character screen shows it. And I have no idea how much it's been fixed for the remaster. Might not have been fixed at all. Might have been totally fixed. I don't know. Anything good here? But yeah, poison like reduction is actually very useful, at least in normal difficulty, because it seems like, obviously, you know, like if you think about it for even a second, this is obvious how it works. But this is essentially 25 poison resistance because I'm poisoned for less time, and you could argue it's better than that because not only am I poisoned for less time and taking less poison damage, but that means anything that comes about as a result of poison damage, like whatchamacallit. Well, I guess that's not 100% true because the sooner I'm not poisoned, the sooner I can be poisoned again. So it's not 100% true. Right? Because like if I'm being hit by something that's constantly poisoning me, the poisoning production doesn't really matter at all. But if you get enough of it, it can. Like 75, you can get up to like 75 in like normal pretty easily. And I don't think you can go above 75. I don't think the player can have 100%, although I might be wrong about that. No, I don't believe the player. I think certain monsters can, depending on what they spawn with. So, like, I know the ancients spawn with gear that can have poison like reduction. And if they get 100% poison like reduction, they actually are just immune to poison. Essentially, they get poisoned for a frame, and then the poison stops working again. So it's actually super strong for them, but not for you. And plus, like, poison like reduction is affected by difficulties, just like anything else. So normal gives you minus 40% poison like reduction. So you're actually poisoned for 40% longer in Nightmare and 100% longer in Hell, which is something that you wouldn't know unless you actually paid attention to that. Like, you would need, I'm not sure, I guess you would need to be poisoned by a player to essentially know that, because obviously without looking at the game files, you have no idea how long a monster can even poison you for. Alright, we'll start putting points into dexterity and maybe a couple points into strength too. I'm not as worried about that. Should I do the tower? Well, I mean, duh, but I mean, should I do it right now, or should I go get the waypoint for the next area first? Because I like to do that, because, like, this is close enough already. I'm level 8. I guess we'll pop another point in here, because it's more attack ring. And it does reduce the mana cost. It's actually very useful, because if you get double swing to be free, then it's like, well, hell, that's pretty nice. Yeah, we'll go find the cloister waypoint first, and then we'll just tally back. But like, you can see what I mean. Like, I mentioned this earlier, but like, my stamina already isn't really mattering that much. Like, I barely had to care. It's like, look how slow it felt, and like, it goes down. Ooh, champions. Champions are kind of interesting because, like, it's interesting that, like, they're generally not as threatening as, especially once you get to, like, hell. They're generally not as threatening as, uniques ever are, but the fact that all 4 of them, or like everyone in the group has some sort of like champion bonus and there's no like minions, can be interesting because, you know, stuff like Howl, for example, like the Barb has Howl and Grim Ward, right? And those can be really useful on against unique packs because you can scare away the minions and then the champion. I keep saying champion and unique like as if they're the same thing, but like, yeah, the unique won't run, but his minions will, so it can be really easy to deal with them, especially if they're like aura and champion. Or like, I think it's the terror stuff is super underrated because like, if you go look at like what people talk about, the reason most people don't like is because they don't like the fact that it slows the game down. Basically, like you don't kill stuff as fast because they're running away from you, and it's kind of a shame because people, I feel like we've gotten to the point where people min-max this game so hard that anything that slows down your killing speed at all is like seen as inefficient, basically. And that's pretty much all it is. And it's kind of a shame because I think it's cool that the game can be played differently. Like you can take the game slower. And of course, if you play hardcore like I am right now, that stuff matters so much more, right? Because you'll see this happen a lot. Like hardcore players will try to play the same way, you know, normal players, softcore players will play, and they'll just get killed by stuff super easily because they're just trying to rush in, and like you shouldn't be doing that because the dumbest things can kill you, right? Wow, 2 champions. I'm gonna leave for a second so I can heal up here. I always thought it was weird how the Forgotten Tower is just the first floor of the Forgotten Tower is just this ladder. Like we're already underground, but then it's Tower Cellar level 1. Like I wonder why they bothered having this super tiny area. Just for flavor, I guess? I don't know. One of those like few things I always thought was weird. I might as well pick that up. It might be useful. Now let me just quickly go boop, boop. Just drink everything. The potion system I've always been slightly mixed about, because like, I do think that it can be kind of silly how it's just like, you just kind of guzzle, especially once you get to like hell difficulty, you're basically just guzzling down potions every time you get hit. And it's kind of silly in that regard, but like at the same time it's like, the way D3 just had a single potion that was on a cooldown, I don't really like the way that game handled it either. I don't know. I think the potion problem is unsolvable though, because everyone has their own opinion on how potions work. And especially because people like me are unsatiable because I don't like any of the potion solutions. Or like the way potions are handled. Did I pick anything up I can use? Well, here. 10% increased attack speed. I think it's too much, because that's almost like double damage. Like, minimum damage is so good. Like, you could... It's funny, because minimum damage is essentially twice as good as max damage, because +2 to minimum damage means now I'm doing 4 to 6, whereas max would be 2 to 8. So on average, it would be like 4 to 6, but now I'm doing 4 to 6 consistently, instead of like sometimes I'm doing 2, sometimes I do a little more. I mean, I guess in that regard, it's not that it's twice as good, it's just way more consistent is the thing. Which is kind of a big deal, I feel like. We'll just keep going. Tower Cell is another fun place to grind because there's always at least one unique on each floor, and then each floor has one monster, like, unique pack on it at least. And each floor is small, and there's 5 floors, so you get a lot of chances to run into stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool that it worked like that.
Good to see you.
Fuck, I'm almost not used. I've been playing online so much. It's weird to have to identify and all this stuff happen instantly. Now that I think about it, I will say there.
Greetings.
Don't need any of this. Whoops, don't need that. But you can see what I mean? Like, look at this. Like, I can buy a Flace for 3 to 10. That's still less than 6 to 11. And I can buy those these from Akara. And it's not like it's much more expensive. What does she have? It's like plus the life. You know, I'll get the poisoning reduction. It's pretty handy, actually. What is her armor, too? It's more poisoning reduction. Yeah, now she takes half damage poison, essentially, most of the time, unless she's getting spammed. Ooh, but cold damage for free, though. She's already a cold sort, but which I'm glad I prefer the cold one over the fire one. But she doesn't use cold, like cold arrow doesn't happen that often at low levels. She'll use it more often at higher levels. Like I think when she gets to like the 50s, she's pretty much, that's around the point when she'll just use cold arrow like 50% of the time, so it's pretty nice in that regard. Trying to think. I guess I'll just keep double swing for now. Also check to see if there's anything good I can find from Akara. Might be nice to find like a good like scepter. Like like just a little enhanced damage. Now it's doing 7 to 14. Like just an enhanced damage thing is doing more than this. Although this adds that extra fire damage. So this is more like 9 to 12. So it's more consistent in that regard, but still. It's nice. How long have I been playing for? I didn't even pay attention to the time. Oh. I didn't even realize that guy was a boss. Something that I really like, the new game looks great, but I'm glad that they have the option for the old game, and that it's the old game still looks great too. So it's like win-win, you know. Towers have a level 4. I don't know if I'm gonna grind for Tau F on screen. Probably not. It's one of the few things I go for because it's fairly consistent, right? You're pretty much always gonna get either a Tau or an F eventually, right? Unless you get super unlucky. And stealth is just so good early on. Like once you can. It's kind of a high level technically because it's like level 17 I think, but it's still like you get that pretty quick. You're usually level 17 some point in Act 2. Unless you're really rushing. And by that point it's like, well, now you're running around faster. And the run speed matters a lot for a melee character, because being able to catch up to stuff is great. And being able to run from stuff too is also great. Even just beyond like the obvious, like the fact that moving faster is just nice, because it means it's faster just to move around casually too. Yeah. Barrels have always been one of the things that are not worth kicking. Like, I don't think I've ever thought... That's not true. I have sometimes found I've actually found uniques from barrels, but they're like the most frustrating thing to hit, because like most of the time they don't give you anything good. And they can blow up and hurt you. Archers. Archers are one of the scariest monsters, especially this early on, because they do a lot of damage to you, and like, you can say, look, I've already, like, look how much damage I took from that group, and I have a lot of health right now. Right? This is already enough health that I can go into hell difficulty and get hit by a cow. The cow ain't killing me unless he gets a crit. Right, because I think all monsters have a 5% chance to crit. I think it's actually, once again, it can be like individually set, but I think by default it's like 5% for basically everything that can crit you. Right, because I know that most of the mercs can't crit, but the Barb merc does have a 5% chance to crit, like regular monsters, because I don't know if that's an accident or if it's just some weird thing to make him better. Funny thing is that the Barb merc can't be put into hit recovery either, right? Like, he's like a golem, right? He has no hit recovery at all. So like, even if he gets hit for half his health, they'll just keep trucking and smacking shit no matter what. And the funny thing is that might be an accident, because the Barb merc has hit recovery frames. He just never uses them because he's flagged to just not ever be put into hit recovery. Like, it might just be a thing that's like because he's tougher, but given that at the Barbarian can be put in hit recovery, who knows? You know what would be a nice buff for the Barb merc actually? Or for the actual like Barbarian. Hey, I got Tau at least. Is imagine if the Barbarian character couldn't be put in hit recovery.
This is reward enough.
I'm gonna talk to Akara, because I always thought that her thing for beating the Forgotten Tower is always it's almost like a little bittersweet, you know?
I thought the stories of treasure in the tower were nothing but lies. I am glad you found something of value in that death trap. Would that our sisters had been so fortunate.
Ah, I love that one. I don't know why I like that little bit of dialogue. I don't know, because it's kind of funny that a bunch of rogues got killed, but it's like what killed them? It was just a staircase collapsing on them. It's like, dude, that's so like normal. If you think about it, like it's just like that probably happened in real life at some point. Nah. I feel like Life Leech isn't super handy for rogue mercs, at least early on, because like most of the time if something's gonna kill them, it's gonna kill them, even with the Life Leech. Because they'll get flinched by something that hits them hard, and then they're just kind of dead. Which I guess I don't need that. Yeah, I guess I'll get rid of the plus to strength. Damage reduced by 1 this early on is actually ridiculous. Like, most things are only doing single digit damage, so that's like a lot this early on. We'll pop another point into that. And hey, why not? More double swing. That's only 1 mana. I can double swing all day. Tal F.
Good day.
So I'll just dump the Tal rune in there, and there you go. Once we find an F, there you go. But for now, let's just keep going. I think this layout means that the way should be to the top left here. I know you can tell which way the barracks is by what is actually like what this mill area looks like, but I always forget. Because I know that there's this, if it's the statue, it's like top right, but I think sometimes that statue can be a different one, and then that means it's bottom right. Bottom right is super rare compared to the other two for some reason. I'm not sure if that's on purpose or not, but no, look at this. It's not top left. I swear you can tell, but I have no idea what it is. Every time I think I know what it is, I get it wrong, so don't tell me. Maybe this is bottom right. Maybe the cross here is bottom right, but I'm going to go top right. Because I feel like bottom right just never happens, so I'm just going to follow through on that and not make myself look like an idiot by going down there and it's actually top here anyways. Yeah, see? I have no idea. Don't at me, you know, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm not sure if monsters need to have a shield to be able to block. Because it's weird, because the game's like many things, the game isn't consistent about this, right? Because Nightmare and Hell difficulties, right? The act bosses can block even though they don't have a shield, right? And it'll just use their hit recovery frames, and that's just how it works. But I'm not sure if that applies to regular monsters. Like, I think that the ones the Fallen that have torches can't block, and only the ones with shields can. Just like same thing with the rogues, like the Fallen rogues. It's the same thing too. Okay. Get a potion. Holy crap! I'm gonna die. It's always the archers, man. These ones are tough. That's my B, man. My run could have ended right there, because I mean, I always had a problem with this. I'm too slack on potion, man. My rogue's gonna die too, because she's just standing there getting hit. Yep, always happens. There's a guy freaking hiding behind the barrel, so I can't see him. What an asshole. Well, we're gonna immediately resurrect her, because it's gonna be cheap.
Yes?
Like, that's less than it costs. It's almost like the same price that it cost me to buy my scepter. It's like, yeah, I'll take that. Now you look at look at this thing. 3 to Holy Fire. That's like a must buy for a Holy Fire dude this early on. But that's ridiculous. Sometimes if you're lucky, it can be worth it to find like a wand or something and dual wield those, because you can get like a wand that has like a bunch of elemental damage or something, and you can dual wield those. And that's actually pretty useful. Doesn't look like it's the case, but it can be.
Good to see you.
Don't ask me why I started doing that. I was originally just going ba 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 ba, and then it turned into the Doom theme because I just thought of it. Wow, a shield with +5 res and all poison line reduction. That's not bad this early on. That was to be something I would buy if I was a paladin.
Good day.
Can I find like some boots with faster run walk? That'd be really nice. I forget when you can start finding those. Because they're legitimately nice to have this early on. So what makes stealth so nice is the fact that it's faster run walk on something that isn't boots too. Ah well, anyways, we are in the barracks, and I shall fuel up here. Hey, I clicked on you. It looks like I wouldn't be surprised if the smith is like right up here actually. Don't quote me on that one, but this looks kind of like the one you, kind of where you typically run into him. So you see a hole like this, then you continue going up, and there he is. It's also almost always a unique before this too, I feel like. Oh god. Jesus. I said nothing should kill me, but man, I'm proving myself wrong a lot here, eh? Thinking about it, it might be worth it to wait to fight the Smith, because it's kind of the same thing. He's gonna be kind of scary if I'm not careful. Yeah, I think top left there looks right to the Smith. Alright, so place that. Guzzle you down. I'll keep that. I swear, I don't know if this is true, but I swear wells regenerate faster in D2R than they do in the original. Like, I swear in the original, wells can sometimes take forever to refill. Whereas here, it's like it refills pretty much always. Yeah. We'll get a TP up. I don't want to die. The Smith is actually like... It's funny, because as you get into like Nightmare in Hell, right, the super uniques aren't as scary, and the regular uniques are way scarier, but in normal difficulty, the Smith is pretty scary, because I think he always has Amplify, right? Or no, he's extra strong. Get out of there! So you don't want to get stuck behind all the other monsters. Although as a Barb, he's not super scary. He'd be a lot scarier if I was like an Amazon or something, because he'd be walking up to me and smacking me super hard. It's kind of the same reason why he's scary as a rogue in the original game, actually.
I should take this to Charcy.
Well, I guess since I'm here. Since I have the TP up. Because technically speaking, having extra TPs up doesn't actually matter, so I probably shouldn't even bother.
Oh, thank.
I'll keep this. If I can find a socketed bow, I'll put that topaz in there, because plus 1 to 8 damage is actually a lot for this point in the game. Ah, the imbue. The imbue is actually pretty useful, but it's something you, like, because of the way it's set up, because it's based on your level, it's generally something you'll never use for a long time, unless, just because, like, it's just not optimal to do it now. Right, it's better to either you wait until like super late into hell when you're like I think it's like you want to be level 94, because imbuing takes your character level plus 5 and then gives you an item based on that level. What does this give me? 3 to mana? Magic damage reduced by 1 is pretty nice actually. Once again, same reason. Not a lot of like the strongest things are from uniques who are doing like, you know, 10 damage per hit to me. So that's like a lot of damage reduction right there. You know, you guys had socket stuff every time I came here, except now that I actually have a gem. Which is, you know, just classic, really. So we're going to leave and come back here. Because I want to find a socket thing.
Greetings.
Especially if I can find, like, a jeweler's of something.
Good evening.
There we go. Triple socket, that can be good. Just gotta keep an eye out for gems.
I'll put that to good use.
Because this is 4 to 6, and now this is essentially 3 to 14. So that's a lot. That's a big increase, and I can put more things in there. And we get even better. Could also start gambling, but I feel like gambling is one of those things that's not really worth it until you have a lot more money. Because gambling is the same way, right? It's based on your character levels. So right now when I don't have money and my level's low, I'm not getting generally good stuff. Of course, it goes both ways. You know, once you're super high level, you have way more stuff you can get that just isn't that useful, is the thing. It's probably back to the... Well, that actually looks like it's right there. So I think it's however you get over here. Can you like click on anything? Jeez, I'm running around like a damsel in distress or something in a freaking zombie movie. Just run around in circles around everything. Yeah, there it is.
No one should ever be caged.
Alright, so jail waypoint mostly doesn't matter. If you find it, it's great, but it's like generally I only ever find it if I like find it. Just for I'll find it because, you know, I'm kind of a completionist and I like getting all the waypoints, but like that's usually something I do when I'm way later in the game when I have some faster run walk and I can just run by everything because nothing does any damage to me. But right now I don't really care. So if I find the waypoint, I'll grab it, otherwise who cares. I'm not sure if extra strong applies to these dudes, by the way. I've always been not 100% on how that works, because like they're extra strong, but I'm not sure, does extra strong apply to magic? Because they're using like an elemental attack, but is it basically treated the same as their attack? It's just doing physical or like elemental damage, you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure about how that works. But you know, don't quote me on that. There. I'll just keep putting points in there for now, because I'm not sure when I'll start doing throw. Who knows? That is the next floor. Because I'm right here, I might as well quickly check. Is this the waypoint? It is actually, so I'm glad I went up here, even though it doesn't really matter. I don't even have anything to turn in, so let's head to the next floor. This is a little complicated thing. Always has the stairs, and then there's usually a statue just chilling here in the middle. Stationary objects like that are interesting because generally they don't drop anything. I don't think they can actually drop anything. But they give a lot of experience relative to... So they can be good for leveling up. Although like many things in this game, I think certain things are bugged and some of them won't give experience at all. They'll give like one experience instead of actually giving a lot. It's weird. But you know, it's Diablo 2, everything's freaking weird. It's like somehow, no matter what you're doing, it's bugged. And I'm not going to sit there and be like it's because the developers sucked. It's because they're working with a lot of systems, and you know, especially because this game is, especially in its current form with D2R, and even with just like the current version of the classic Diablo 2, which when I say classic in this case, I mean Diablo 2, just standard Lord of Destruction and not D2R. Is so much different than what it, you know, is from when it first released. This is a weird thing. Let me check something here. I know there's a bug with the Barb dual wielding where his attack speed is slower or faster depending on which weapon you equip to him first. Because I think that generally, like, if you equip the... I forget exactly how this works. Let me just, like, unequip these. Basically, since these are both fast, I don't think it actually matters. But, like, if one of his weapons is way faster than the other, if you equip it to this slot first, and then equip the slow one second, I think it actually makes him attack faster than he would normally. Which is like a weird thing. But if you equip whatever weapons you have and you equip to the left slot first, it works properly. It's only if you equip the first weapon to the right slot that it's bugged. And that goes away after like a lot of things. Like if you revert the game, if you press W to switch weapons, like it's obviously not supposed to be like that, and it fixes itself generally unless it's like you'll only get that bug if you go out of your way to do it. Is there a shrine here that I think I already clicked it though. I don't know what the trick is for finding the different levels for the jail. I'm not sure if there even is a trick. It's just there are a bunch of pre-generated Obviously, like, all the floors are made of, like, just a bunch of different chunks, but you'll notice the same chunks as you play through the game. Like, the chunks are arranged in a random order, but it's, like, all the same chunks. And, you know, obviously, you know, they can only do so much. It is technically a 2D game, so it's not generated on the fly. I mean, that's not saying they couldn't do that. Oh my god, that's fanaticism, what the fuck? You know, I shall let the rogue do her thing. Please hit them while they can't. They're stupid monsters who can't open a door. Oh my god, there's skeletons though. That sucks. I shall run around and make the skeletons just sit there and be like, yo, hit me. She's actually hitting the skeletons first. That's cool. I wonder if they're... Because I know, like, the way the game actually has a threat system for monsters. Like, every monster has a threat level predetermined by, like, that basically... I forget where that even goes from. Like, I know that it actually targets smaller threat levels first, I believe. And this even applies to your mercs, right? I think rogues have a threat level 11, whereas all the other ones have a threat level 10. So the game actually... And I believe the player, by default, has a threat level of 10. So enemies will actually prefer to hit you over your rogue merc. I'm not sure how much the threat level actually matters, but that is how it works. Oof. But and this might be true for certain monsters. I wonder if there's like ranged monsters that have a higher threat level. Or a lower threat level, I guess, because the game expects, wants your minions to target them first. Which would be interesting. I think in general, though, it's actually kind of underutilized, because like you would think like threat level would be higher for things like shamans and stuff, so your minions target them first, but it doesn't. And that might be on purpose, because it wants you to target them specifically, and your minions are idiots. Because, I mean, necromancers with, you know, skellymancers and the... Especially now that the druid in D2R got buffed and you can summon all his different types of wolves in the bear at once. Those types of classes are really strong now. Like, they were always... the skellymancer was always strong, but they're even better since certain ones got a buff. I know the blood golem got buffed, so his life scales with levels. And the... Mages are still kind of bad, but they got buffed a little bit to have more health and do a little more damage. So that's still nice. So they're just better. They've always been, like, it's funny because those types of things are terrible for player versus player. But for player versus monster, they're pretty much the best class in the game. Because, like, even though they're slow, mind you, like... Things like sorceress and stuff will always be way faster, but like in terms of safety, like especially for stuff like hardcore, necromancer that goes into all their summons can be running around in hell basically naked with like very little threat, because there's just so much stuff around to soak up damage and do damage that it's like they'll never get targeted. It's just such a great class for that. Hey, we found an axe. Maybe it's time. I'm level 11, so once I level up again, start popping points into there. That might be cool. I've never done a throwing barb before, because I barely do barbs, period, anyways. I think the only barb I've ever done was a frenzy barb, which was really fun. Frenzy is actually super fun, just because, like, eventually you get so much faster run walk that you start frenzying and you're just running around. It's, like, better than teleport, almost. Not totally true. Well, it depends, because in the one hand, you know, teleport's always going to be the fastest way to get around. But on the other hand, Frenzy Barb doesn't have to worry about accidentally teleporting into a group of monsters and just getting gibbed, because you teleport right into the middle of them and they just kill the shit out of you. This is a level tile I remember a lot. The one where it's two rogues on a spike and then a skeleton. I always remember this one. Should I go all the way to Andario? I almost wonder if I should. Like, last time I did this with a randomizer, I did a full run through where I just did each act. But I did it in a randomizer where I was getting really good stuff constantly, and it went by pretty fast for the most part. Even though there was more monsters, I was using a class that could deal with the more monsters pretty well, so I don't know. I think I'll go through, because, I mean, ultimately, once you get to the inner cluster, you're pretty close to Andario anyways. I don't know if I'll do that for the later acts, because especially Act 2, and especially Act 3 is pretty long. If you don't get lucky and get the right map generated right away. Right, if you get a Great Marsh, right, if you get like a flare, a thing where the spider jungle can go straight to the flare jungle, you know, it goes by pretty fast. But if you have to go through the Great Marsh, it can take a while, especially if you get unlucky. Another bow. That's 3 sockets. Nah, it's 2 sockets. I haven't found any gems yet for a while. This is something I always thought was funny. It's like the idea is that it's supposed to be because like this is a fake door, right? It's harder to tell in the remake because in the original it has like kind of an indent to it, but in the remaster it's basically just the same as any other wall. But you can pick up the gold through the wall, so it's like pointless almost. Like there's a chest back there, so you still get something, but it's just funny to me that it's like you can pick up the gold regardless. Yeah, as soon as you see the double doors, it's like there's the inner cloister. Hey, boots. Alright, let's identify these axes and see what I get, because I'm going to probably go throwing Barb. Starting now, because I got 2. Oh yeah, it's increasing technical cold damage. That's awesome.
Good day.
Hit recovery? Nah. Oh, I need more dexterity. Oh, shit. I need 40. Goddamn, I need to level up twice. That sucks. So I probably won't get to use it for this part unless I level up on the way to Andario.
Good day.
Like again, because I'm pretty close to level up. I'll probably get the level up in the cathedral. Let's leave these in the corner. Inventory space isn't really a big deal anyways. Uh-oh. That's a little scary. Good thing I'm a tanky-ass Barb. My Merc, however, is not so fortunate. Fucking ghosts are the worst. They're so terrible. The fact that they can go through each other and stack on top of each other and hit you all at the same time just sucks. Like, they're actually just deceptively one of the stronger melee monsters, because most of the time monsters, especially bigger stuff, even though they hit you harder, they have to get close to you to hit you. Whereas these dudes, the ghosts, just all stack on top of each other. And especially if you get big ghost groups, it's like they just don't care. Also, can you stop resurrecting, you asshole? Found another cloud. I'm gonna pick that up because why not? I'm actually gonna go back and resurrect my Merc though. I prefer to have at least someone else around by it. So yeah, I have to put more points of dexterity, unfortunately. I didn't realize that. So I can't actually get... I can put a point to double throw, but I won't actually get to use it yet. So I think I'll actually pop a point into find item. Start using that on monsters. So double swing and find item. Find item is sick though. Like, legitimately, it's like one of another skill that makes the Barb so good. Being able to just double magic find on most monsters, as long as you're not partying up with necromancers that's using corpses, or you have a rest in peace thing, it's just really great.
Hello.
Alright. What's my Merc at? She's at level 8. I'm at level 12. Yeah, see what I mean? She levels up way slower than me. I don't know why. That uses up so much mana though. How much is that? 7, yeah. That's a lot for a Barb who only has 26. I do have one good thing I can use on here. We got Bone Ash over here. Oh, I accidentally closed the door. It's kind of funny the door's already open, actually. I don't usually go down these side areas, but I kind of want to just, like... I don't want to save an exit, and I really kind of want to get another level before I get to Andara so I can start throwing shit. The layer of this area has always been interesting to me because there's like this whole extra area over here, right? Nice.
Thank you.
That. Attack ring. Well, she doesn't really need that. I keep getting the crappy jewels, man. I don't want amethysts. Amethysts are not useful in normal. I don't think they are. It can be nice to socket into a weapon as an extra just for a little extra attack. But like even then, like the amethysts are probably the least useful, just because like by the time they could be useful, there's just better runes to do the job. Right? You can get runes that you can put into weapons that just straight up like reduce enemy defense when you hit them, which does a lot more than, you know, just a little bit of extra attack rating.
Cold and damp under the earth.
Oh, here we go. Perfect. Let's give her
I
the...
can't use that. I'll put that to
There.
good use.
Boom. Also, something I want to point this out because I just thought of it. I feel like the audio balancing is like different in this version, even though you would think it'd be the same. You'd think like it would be the same, but I swear, like I had to turn it down from like 100 to 170 because it felt like the music was so much louder. We have all these options here. Like, I'm so glad we have all these options. It's great quality of life stuff. Let me check something. So I have it set to Resurrected. If I change it to Glide and apply that, and I go into old mode, no, it still doesn't show on the sides. I think I'll keep it in Glide for now, though. Like, I have no idea what the difference between the different modes because I haven't really looked into it. But it does seem like I did notice a bit of a difference when I was playing before, just messing around. But that was just like a quick eyeball. Wow, got another topaz. That's nice. Look how much damage she's got now. She's doing good damage. She's doing more damage than me now, almost. Just from like one little gem. Well, 3 little gems, but you know what I mean. And since she's level whatever she is, I think she can already use flawed gems, so she could be doing like way more too. But I can't, you know, I don't have a cube yet, so I would have to find those, which is pretty rare. Alright, we're on the way back, so I guess I can stamina up. People always complain about the Merc AI not being able to keep up, and I think the simple reality is it's because they're slower than you, so of course they can't keep up. If you have no faster run walk yet, though, they're the same speed as you. Because the Rogue Merc's keeping up with me pretty well. As long as you don't go through too many like corners that she'll get stuck on. Ooh, wow, that's super rare, Ratman. It's like the first time you see the fetish dudes. It's pretty rare to see them, because Because I think, like, I don't know what it is, but it feels like even though they can spawn in these levels, they never do. I don't know if I'm crazy or not, though. We haven't even... We explored, like, most of the first floor, too, and they only just showed up, so... Maybe it's specific to that tile, because it was a unique pack, too. Dunno. Here we go, we got some faster run walk, and it's even cold and dexterity, which is awesome. So that's exactly what we need.
Good evening.
Bam. And I mean, for the most part, it's like whatever. If I find something with a helmet with poison length reduction, like a poison length reduction, is really useful for Andario.
Let's deal, my friend.
Just because she doesn't really poison you all that often. Right, her poison decks are kind of slow. Honestly, a double socketed helmet might be useful to keep. Just because, once again, sockets can be useful early on. They're pretty useful once you get the cube for a little while too, because you can get yourself up to like flawless gems if you just like look around for gem shrines pretty easily. Oh, here you go, faster recovery and more mana. I'll take that. Like, the 10 defense doesn't matter that much. Alright. That looks like a staircase. There we go. Now I want a waypoint. I'm actually a little scared because Andario is actually kind of scary, especially with the idea that I can't die. Andario's pretty like she'll kill the hell out of my Merc at least, but I guess my Merc isn't in hardcore. That doesn't really matter, but she herself is like her poison is legitimately scary, but I guess like ugh. I hate it when you get a big unique pack and they're just right next to another group of monsters, so you just have to deal with both of them. And the normal monsters just have such a bad habit of getting in the way. Like, they're so good at it, I swear. Another throwing axe. I'll go pick that up. Maybe it's good.
Thank you.
Because I feel like diamonds are mostly like the attack ring is like whatever. I guess it's nice because you can get attack ring from a helmet and a piece of armor. And the weapon damage is pretty good, even if it's a little like specific. Because like you haven't actually even seen any undeads, but the shield resistance is great. Like a perfect diamond is like, it's not the best, but it's way easier to get than the rune that has not even that much more resistance for putting into a shield. Diamonds are way easier to get, which is the great thing. Might as well put that up because I don't know, they might be coming back. Oh god! Okay, go! Get the hell out of there. You know, I'm gonna tell you just so my rogue doesn't die immediately.
Yes.
Greetings.
Because that's a big pack of monsters right there. Prevent monster heal. And enhance damage. Wow. You know, I think I'll take that over the faster thing. Prevent monster heal is awesome. I forgot, I think prevent monster heal lasts for like an hour. It's ridiculous. Like, it has a duration, but it's some ridiculous amount for some reason.
Good evening.
Like, they couldn't be asked to make it last forever, so they just made it some ridiculous number for some reason. I don't know why. It's like that, but that is what it is. D2 is a funny game like that a lot of the time. I'm gonna walk them and immediately like that. You know, that's one thing that kind of bothers me about the remake. There's loading screens for like everything. Like you go through a portal, you get a loading screen, whereas in the original it was instantaneous. There's almost no loading screens in the original game except when you go through to a different act. Whereas for some reason it's like that all the time. Pretty much anytime you go through any sort of warp, there's a loading screen. Which I hate that it's like that, but you know, like I said, it is what it is.
Thank you.
I know you can use a potion by shift right clicking on the thing, but for some reason I don't like doing that. Don't ask me why. Holy crap, that's all I do. So I'm not even going to bother with that shit. There's a freaking spider pack there. Screw that crap. I'm out of here. That is way too many monsters in one area that I want to deal with. Hey, we found the waypoint at least. Nah. I'll keep the javelins itself, but I don't need the waypoint to go anywhere. This waypoint's great to get, just because, like, especially once you get to Nightmare, it's great to get that one, because Nightmare and Dario just drops, like, so much good stuff. It's, like, the first real good place to start, like, farming kills. I don't usually do that, though. It's funny, it's like, you look at, like, what the culture of this game is, it feels like everyone just wants to farm stuff. Like, that's the highlight of the game. Like, man, I love farming stuff, that's the best part of the game. But I've never been into that. I rarely do that stuff. Only thing I really ever do it for consistently is the Countess on normal difficulty, just to get stealth. Just because stealth is so easy and so good this early on. Alright, so let's head up here. If I find another champion or unique pack, I might actually get pretty close to leveling up. Although not if we find the floor right that fast. It would be a little awkward actually to find Dario so soon. Oh god. Oh god. That's a scary pack. These are like some of the worst enemies to find this early on. Although it's funny because this one has teleport. Especially because they're so... I hate the vampires, man. They just run around, man. That's what I mean. Like, vampires are one of the more annoying enemies. It's because they run around. They're very good at avoiding you while they spam you with their fireballs and life drain missiles. Like, it's funny. They have two missiles, but they both look super similar to each other. You might not even realize that they even have that. They have a fireball, and then they have the life drain missile, which looks very similar, but is a little different.
Thank you.
Alright. Now we're almost leveled up. We're actually going to get to use double throw now. That'll be interesting. Let me just clear everything out here. Broadsword. I forget when a sword can have 4 slots. I think it's the same thing. Actually, that might not be true. You might be able to get 4 slots in normal, depending on if it's a broadsword or not. I'm not sure. Alright. Boom! I can use my shit now. So put you there, and you there. 10 to life is actually quite a lot, but not enough that I care. Because I already have over 200, so who cares? There's that. Double throw. Bam. So I think I'll keep it like this. I might actually pump enough points in the double swing that it's free, just so I can double swing with my throwing weapons. For now, at least. Because it increases the damage of double throw anyways, so it's good to have. What does my rogue have? Poison line reduction? Poison line reduction. Great. Pretty much what I would want. Alright. So I think my damage actually just went down, but I have distance damage now. I might look for socketed throwing weapons. That might be a good idea. I actually forget if socketed throwing weapons exist. Is that not a thing actually? Or am I crazy? I don't remember. Luckily the throwing damage is pretty good actually, so I think I'll actually just go for normal though, because I don't like to have both my things be managing, because I don't like to accidentally be draining from when I could be using double throw, right? Yeah, look how much damage these ghouls take now, because I can't... My weapon damage is lower, and I don't have the bonus undead damage. Which kind of sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. It would be nice to not have to run up to Andarion and whack her, because she's pretty scary. Her physical attack is actually pretty strong. You might think, like, because, like, I don't know, because she's the first boss or something, or maybe because, like, she's succubus or whatever, but she hits like a truck. Maybe not Duriel truck hitting, but still pretty hard, especially once you get into later difficulties, but, you know. The double throw is actually much stronger than I was expecting. It's nice to be able to just, like, run back and hit stuff. Ooh, more rare boots, wow. Nice. It's always nice to have.
Thank you.
My voice is actually getting a little parched. I have a full cup of water I haven't drank at all, so let me just... Yeah, it's almost 2:30. It's almost 3 in the morning for me. It's getting there. I would have recorded this not so late, but freaking everybody in the place was loud as hell, and nobody really like stopped being loud until like really late, like around when I reported. Oh, look at this guy! Get out of here! Yeah. It's funny, it's pretty rare to be the one tanking for your merc, but that'll happen with the rogue merc early on, because she doesn't have that much health for a while. Especially because she doesn't level up as fast in normal difficulty. Like I said, I swear there's something weird with that. I don't level up as fast as you would expect me to. Like, she's level 9 and she's only halfway. I'm level 13 and I'm halfway. So, like, jeez. Whew, I'm like breaking out into a cold sweat now. After I drink that water, it's like my body's like, oh shit, liquid. It's nice to have the cold damage, though, just to really chill these ghouls. I also forgot I have find item. I should probably be using that, but you know, but I haven't really cared too much. I should be, because it's such a good skill. Like, I'm kind of wasting it by not using it, but I kind of forgot I had it for a while there, which is funny. Yeah, wow, drinking that water, I'm suddenly breaking out into a cold sweat. Wow, I'm just gonna finish it then, just deal with it. Oh. Yeah, the underside of my thing, the underside of my glass, because the top of the desk is glass, so I can see my hands in the keyboard. It's starting to fog up because I, like, got suddenly, like, sweating. Like, my body's just suddenly like, I'm hot. Feeling chills in the back of my neck. Oof. That's weird. Ah, dead end. That sucks. Oh, there's more dudes here, so I'll whack them. Give them the old peep-ho. I want to say this has been pretty easy so far, but I've actually almost died, like, several times because I'm... Mostly just because I'm a bit too, like, slack about potioning sometimes. Ooh. Like, this is a good time to back up. It's gonna be a lot easier now that I have, you know, I'm not just running up to dudes and whacking them, so I can be safe if I need to be. Oh, jeez, yeah, that was a crit. Jesus Christ. Whew. Might as well. The weird thing with mana potions is because they stop healing, I think, once they get to the top. So it can actually be, like, stronger ones can actually heal you less over time because they get to the top faster. And then they just stop healing. Whereas, like, a light one will heal, still fully heal me, but it'll fully heal me slower. So I can use skills while it's fully healing me. Like, it's weird how it works. Because you would think, like, I don't know. That's all I can say is it's weird how it works. Yeah, I'm like sweating now. That's funny. I'm less parched though, so it's probably a good thing. If anything, it's like maybe I'm sweating now because I actually have water to sweat out. I don't know. It's funny. To be fair though, I drank a bunch of water earlier too, so it wasn't exactly parched. I kind of want to go get a snack, but I'm almost done. It's just this floor 3 is taking forever, man. Mainly because I swapped to a new skill now, so I have to get used to it. Don't you dare pin my merc. Oh, I'm actually out of stamina. Wow, I wasn't even paying attention. But we're at floor 4, so here we go. Let's just stand still for like 3 seconds to get our stamina back, because that's what's silly about it. It's like all it really means is you just have to stop running. Ooh, nice charm. Okay, we just want to ignore everything and kill these shamans right away, because they're going to be annoying. This one in the corner is always so hard. Like, he pretty much always spawns you, and it's like, how do you... Like, especially because, like, I swear it's harder. It really does, seems like you should be able to walk around these barrels, but you just can't. Okay, I'm gonna quickly back off here. I guess I'll pick up the zombie head and stuff, because it's magic. Zombie heads don't usually, even though they can have auto mods, unlike a lot of it's weird. Like, I feel like the OG auto mod stuff, generally, like, if you get good auto mods, they can sell for a ton of gold. But the new stuff, it's like they knew that, like, it was really good for gold finding, and they, like, toned it down or something. Because you don't generally get a lot of gold from, like, zombie heads and, like, the, like, wolf pelts and stuff. But, like, wands and staffs can just instantly sell for, like, a crap ton of money if you get, like, multiple mods on them. Oof.
Good day.
I'm probably going to stock up on antidotes in a sec here. Actually, yeah, I guess I will do that. Half freeze duration? Nah. Oh, I didn't repair. Came all the way over here to repair, and then I didn't do it. You dummy. Does double... I don't think... I think unlike double swing, I don't think double throw goes down in mana cost as you put points into it. You can actually tell, because it shows the mana cost is part of the next level for swing, but for throw, it's not part of it. It's kind of a weird thing. I kind of appreciate that, because, like, it's like the skills, even though they're kind of the same thing, they're not. The game does do things to differentiate similar skills, which I do appreciate. Alright, we'll just guzzle these down. I'll put some on my merc too, just because. Like, this is what's silly. Like, these are 50% poison resistance for like 30 seconds per that you guzzle down, and it's additive. So every one you put down is another 30 seconds. And like 36 gold for an antidote potion? These are dirt cheap. You can buy like an inventory full of them. You pick up like one thing and sell it. It's kind of ridiculous, actually.
Good day.
I'll wait to use them though. I want to try to like clear out this area first. Anything to click on? There's a couple barrels I might as well. That was a chest here. It's actually, it's funny, you'd think like people expect them to make the remaster brighter. They actually made it darker for the most part. It's actually kind of hard to see stuff a lot of the time unless you turn up the gamma. There's some cool lighting effects, like look at this. Although this is kind of silly because you would think like the light makes the shadow against the thing, but if you get close to it, you emit light, so which I guess makes sense because you do have light radius, but it's just funny that like that's kind of weird. Oh hey, look, a boss. Get rid of him. He's cursed. Cursed monsters are such a nuisance once you get to like Nightmare, and especially into Hell, because their amplified curse lasts so goddamn long, dude. One thing I hate about fighting Andario is I swear she always spawns with a bunch of shamans. And they're just spawning stuff to get in the way. So it can be hard to just have a fight with her.
Thank you.
Alright, I just dumped like
Thank you.
3,
Thank you.
4,
Thank you.
5,
Thank you.
6,
Thank
7.
you.
And now rest for me. And then one
Thank
fur.
you.
And that's 50%, I think? Yeah, like that's so free. Like that's just half poison damage for 37 gold. Like that's nothing. Alright, so there she is. I'm rogue. Yeah, rogue merc. Even with the 50% poison, it's just dropped dead. That's why I have the TP though, because you can't die from poison by itself, right? You have to get hit by something else, even if it's just another hit of poison. But if I'm like getting hit by like some hard poison, I can just go into town quickly. Hopefully, I'm going in, not taking the risk. I'm right over that point of health where like a crit will just put me down to like 10 or something stupid.
Yes?
You can actually, like, another thing too is if you take a antidote, it'll instantly cure the poison too. So like, it's stupid, but like I don't like to do that because I don't like to have to micromanage that. I like to just deal with it. Just do this.
Let
Easy.
the gate be opened.
Alright. This is a great victory indeed. Finally we may rejoice.
Finally,
Wow, that's nice, but I'm gonna swap over to the Act 2 Merc, so no point. Well, this is nice to get a Topaz. I might find him a, I think I'll swap that just because that's a lot of attack rating. What are the boots? Nah, I don't need those.
hello.
Because I might find him like a good spear. Just use that. The caravan is secure. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the cutscenes. You wanna watch the story? You watch the story. I actually really like Diablo 2's story. I like that it has the whole angels versus demons thing, but it isn't just like, oh, the angels are the good guys. Like the angels hate humans too. You know, it's a nice twist on that.
I know my...
I forget. I know they added a thing where, like, if I... Oh, never mind. Let's just take your stuff off. Might be able to buy better stuff for them, at least.
Good day.
So I want... Do I want Blessed Aim? Which one would I want? The prayer is nice too. think I'll take the attack rating just because like that helped me a lot. Wahid, I like your name. Alright, so we'll just put that on you for now. And we'll just go talk to the people and see if there's anything good. Otherwise, I'm going to end it here. It's already been going on for quite a while. Ooh, yeah, like I actually feel hungry, even though it's like 3 in the morning. I'm not sure. Can these weapons be socketed? A bow can be socketed. I'm not sure about... I don't think these can actually. I don't think it's possible to have socketed throwing weapons. Because now that I think about it, it's not a thing, right?
Good day.
Because you'll never see it. Never even thought about that. That kind of sucks. I guess that makes sense though, because now I think about it, like, yeah, there's no rune words for like throwing weapons.
I've heard.
Everything good? I mean, you don't have anything I'm really gonna use, because like the funny thing is, even though the scepters are great, the grand scepters, it's like by the time you can buy these, it's like, well, now I have better stuff. Although if you haven't found anything good, they're still decent. By the way, a little thing I hate is that in the remaster, when the quest is like doing the thing where it's like doing the animation of it completing, you can't. You'll try to click other things and it'll just automatically go back to this, which is kind of annoying.
Good day.
I don't care too much about finding better gear, but I do at least want to find some. You know what? There. Slap that on him. Damage reduced by 1, give him some fire res, that's good. Good enough. Let's just see if we can find him a good weapon. I want to find like a good like double or triple socket like spear. That's the dream right there, basically. And I might start. I forget if you can even gamble throwing weapons either, but I'll try to find some. Because these are good. Like the prevent monster shield is nice, but it's like I could have more, you know. I might do this off screen if I don't find anything. Like I'm gonna do one more trip, and if I don't find anything, then whatever. We'll do another trip. And we'll end it there.
Welcome to the desert rain.
Welcome to the desert rain. Ooh, that's actually decent. 10% magic fine. That's not bad. This early on. Triple socket spear. I would prefer it to be the something a little faster, but I might just do this regardless because like who cares? I forget which one is faster. Because these are all normal. I know there's one that can be faster attack speed, but I forget which one it is. I know these can be, but I don't think these can be socketed as far as I'm aware of, right? Unless I'm crazy. Well, I'm like 99% sure now that I think about that they can't be socketed, so that's unfortunate. But yeah. Oh, these brandy stocks are the fast ones. So if you can get these triple socket, that's pretty good. Actually, this is higher damage though. 6 to 21. This is just straight up better damage, and it's the same attack speed. He might not be able to use it yet because he's level 12 and he has 6244. Now you only need strength for this, so yeah, he can use it. yeah, that'll be it for this part then. I'm just gonna dump these in here for now. That's not bad.
I'll put that to good use.
There you go. And now, it'll tank for me while I'm throwing shit. Even though I have more life than him. But yeah, that'll be it for this part. So yeah, save and exit. See you guys later.